I saw 9 new movies released in November, so here's my ranking of them all from worst to best. In last place for me is Red One. Listen, if you went to this movie expecting dumb fun and got that, I totally understand it, but for me personally, this movie was almost painful to sit through. I'm just fed up with these super generic Netflix original feeling movies, and that's exactly what this feels like. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has just fully given up on trying to do anything different. He just plays the same exact character in every single movie at this point, and this film is no exception. He is so incredibly dull in this. Chris Evans is a great actor. He's been in great movies. He is sleepwalking through this movie. I'm also just someone that's never asking for an action Christmas movie. Like, I don't want to watch Santa Claus get kidnapped and watch his like government agency around him go and save him. That just sounds so stupid in my opinion. The film should have leaned more into the absurdity of the concept and been like a satire in my opinion. A movie hopefully after this year I'll never have to talk about again because I hated this. Number 8 is Gladiator II. Now this is a big jump up in quality. This is like a 6 out of 10 for me. I didn't love the movie. I have a lot of problems with it, but it's still mildly entertaining at least. My biggest problem is that this movie is simply trying to just recapture the first Gladiator movie and ends up feeling like a rehash of it, except everything that's done well in this film was just done 1,000 times better in the original Gladiator. There's almost no reason to watch this. Paul Mescal is a great actor, but this movie is essentially asking him to be Russell Crowe 2.0, and I'm sorry, he does not have the level of sauce that Russell Crowe had back in the first Gladiator film, and it's so apparent in this movie. I do have to say, every time Denzel Washington comes up on screen, the movie just gets 10 times better. He is incredible in every single scene, and I did really enjoy a lot of the fight scenes in this movie. That's why it's above like a 5 out of 10 for me. And number 7 is Here from Robert Zemeckis. The movie's a drama, but the gimmick is that it actually only takes place from this one camera angle the entire film, but it's constantly jumping across different decades, following different families, although we mainly focus in on Tom Hanks. There are other ones sprinkled in. This is another kind of 6 out of 10 movie for me because there's a lot of things that don't really work and the weird uses of AI kind of scoured around, and some of the times we're cutting away from Tom Hanks's family. It just feels like we're killing time to make the runtime longer. I think when the movie actually does really focus in on Tom Hanks and Robin Wright's character and their family and the things they're going through, it feels very realistic in a way that I could really connect with, and I feel like anybody that's dealt with aging parents or just growing up yourself, you'll have a lot of things that you can really connect to in this film. 6 is Moana 2. I give this a 7 out of 10. I feel like I'm the only Moana 2 defender on the internet, and I accept it is a downgrade from the first film 100%. The songs are 100 times weaker than that movie, and it really has a strong villain problem because of some weird choices they made to go for like a twist in this film. At the end of the day, I think this movie gives you a lot of what you'd want from a Moana sequel. First of all, Moana and Maui themselves have amazing storylines. Everything that happens to their characters at the end and the entire third act I think is really strong. I like the new side characters that we introduced, even if they are underutilized. And the visuals and animation in this film are absolutely mesmerizing to look at. There's so many just amazingly colorful scenes in this film. Is it a perfect movie? No, but I feel like people are being a bit harsh on it. And I think a lot of the over negativity on this movie is the fact that we knew going into it that it was going to be a TV show. Because yes, you could probably still figure it out with a couple scenes that, oh, this would have been expanded in a TV series. I feel like most people making that criticism probably wouldn't even have realized that, oh, this would have been expanded if it was a TV show, if you didn't have that knowledge going into it. At 5 is small things like these with Cillian Murphy. He is in this small Irish town that's controlled by the Catholic Church, and he starts uncovering these darker secrets and things going on in the town that are very disturbing, and it kind of deals with him personally dealing with these new pieces of information that he found out. Didn't love the movie as much as I wanted, but there's still a lot of really great things to take away from this. First of all, Cillian Murphy, as always, is incredible in this. Probably one of the most sleeper best performances of the year that a lot of people will probably just never even see. But what I really like about this movie and what makes it feel unique is it really knows when to just calm down the film and give you these moments of silence to deal with a big shocking reveal instead of some like over the top zany music and overly dramatic score. No, it just lets you feel like you're in the mind of Cillian Murphy processing these things on your own as a real person would. And number 4 is Heretic, A24's latest religious horror movie. This stars Hugh Grant, and I think he is absolutely incredible. This is another one of my favorite performances of the year. November's been a strong one for great acting performances. If you don't know, the movie follows these two Mormon missionaries, and they go to Hugh Grant's house and they're like, hey, we're going to convert you, or at least tell you about Mormonism, but Hugh Grant has other plans and he kind of spews his views on them, and it results in him putting them through this kind of mental and physical cat and mouse game of questioning both your faith and religion as a whole, and I honestly found that part in the first 2/3 to be really compelling. The themes stay there throughout the entire film. In the third act, it definitely tries to become a little bit more of a generic horror movie, and I don't think that worked quite as well. There's some moments in the third act that are really just like eye roll moments, like, oh, that character shouldn't do that, they shouldn't know that information, or I don't think they'd react like that. Just just typical horror movie dumb decisions being made, but other than that, I really enjoyed this film, a strong 8 out of 10. And number 3 is A Real Pain with Jesse Eisenberg and Kieran Culkin. They play these two cousins who are complete polar opposites and really don't have the greatest relationship nowadays because of something that happened in one of their past, but they go on this trip together to try to bond and go over their grief together. The movie is really funny at times, especially Kieran Culkin. He is hilarious in this film, but it also knows when to get really serious and actually give you great emotional moments. But what really makes this film work is the connection between these two. Like I said, they are polar opposites, and it just feels like such a real family dynamic, honestly, in a way that's not represented in film a lot. A really enjoyable film, another 8 out of 10. I'd highly recommend checking it out. Drop a like on the video quick, but at number 2, I have Wicked. Listen, I was the last person expecting to love this movie as much as I did, but I honestly haven't stopped thinking about it since I saw it in theaters. I kind of want to go see it again. This thing was just honestly an absolute true banger. Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo give two of the best performances of the year. They are incredible. Their singing voices are great, makes every song so enjoyable. Choreography also with all the musical numbers is also just so much fun to watch, and the movie just flows. There's a few moments where I think it stalls for a little bit and you can start to feel that 3-hour-ish runtime, but for the most part this thing does fly by. Everybody's picking on this movie for being a little bit washed out and gray, and I definitely see what people are talking about, but I think people are really over exaggerating it. I think this movie for the most part looks really good outside of a few particular shots. One of the biggest surprises of the year for me. But my number 1 has to be Anora. I will be shocked if Mikey Madison does not win the Oscar for Best Leading Actress. She was incredible. If you don't know, she works as a sex worker in the movie, and she meets this Russian oligarch's son. And pretty much she thinks she's getting swept up into her own Cinderella story until the news gets back to his family in Russia, and it pretty much just tears everything apart, and she realizes, hey, this is not what I thought was happening. The movie is stunning visually. Like I said, Mikey Madison is incredible in the lead performance. It is a funny movie. I didn't find it quite as hilarious as other people, but there are some still really funny moments and supporting performances in this. Just really powerful scenes. Like the final scene of this movie is seriously one of the best of the entire year. It hits you like a truck. My entire theater went dead silent. It just leaves you just staring into blankness, thinking about everything you just witnessed. Let me know in the comments your list of your favorite movies you watched in November, and click the playlist down below to check out my movie reviews for pretty much everything I went over in this list if you want to see longer versions of them.